Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank for Doctor Who reviews, the Tsuranga Conundrum. So, this episode, let's be clear, I liked it more than the last episode. I liked it more than the second episode, and I liked it a bit more than the first episode. Overall, though, it felt like we wasted an opportunity here. Or maybe we didn't. It's sort of hard to tell because, again, we're halfway through this season, all right? 5 episodes in, and among other things, I still don't quite know anything that makes this Doctor stand out. I mean, you keep hearing the same thing. I'm sure you've probably heard before. Oh, she's like this Doctor. She's like the 5th Doctor. Oh, she reminds me of the 10th Doctor. Oh, the 11th Doctor. Oh, but who is this Doctor? Okay? Who? All right, the 11th Doctor channeled the 1st Doctor, the 2nd Doctor, especially the 2nd Doctor, and I think a lot of the 7th Doctor, and just about every Doctor after Tom Baker channeled the 4th Doctor in some way or another. But each Doctor did feel unique to themselves. All right? That's sort of how a, multi-Doctor story works. It's like, hey, they're similar, but they're different. You can distinguish them just by how they act and how they talk. With Jodie, I don't know, with the 13th Doctor, the 13th Doctor, I just don't really believe it. I just don't. But anyway, let's just sort of go into the premise of this. So, to be fair, the first couple of minutes of this I did like. The Doctor and company are going through this junkyard, and, something happens, and they wake up on this, effectively a space ambulance, is what we might as well call it. And just the fact that the Doctor's, walking through, not quite recovered, I felt was really great. It was a really great scene to watch her sort of, struggle through. She's sort of trying to find her footing as if, something's up with her. She said, like, I'm not quite ready yet. Like, what's wrong? I'm not healed yet. And that doesn't actually play a role in anything. She gets over relatively quickly as the plot moves on. So, I don't know what that was for. Then, of course, there's the alien. Well, let's just call him Stitch. Let's just call him the not Stitch, to be clear. So, this alien is, well, let's just say it, if not for Lilo and Stitch, it would actually be pretty creative. But this literally looks like a knockoff of Stitch, alright? What is it supposed to be? Experiment 628? Yeah, because we already had 627. I think it was, Leroy and Stitch? Yeah, Leroy and Stitch, Experiment 627. So, this is 628. And he's actually harmless. Like, he's only a threat because he's going to eat the ship. And it turns out he can survive in vacuum space. And the entire premise of this is what? The Doctor, the alien just sort of wants to eat something here. So we feed it, and then we send it to the vacuum of space. Like, there's an attempt at some stakes here. But because the alien's not actually threatening anyone, it just doesn't really feel it. And no one we don't know why it's here, but it's super strong, and its skin is poisonous, and so you can't touch it, and I don't know. And maybe what about the subcategory, the other stories? Well, Yaz still has nothing to do. Hopefully next episode will do that. I swear, if Yaz has nothing to do next episode, considering it's about her family, I don't know what I'll do. Like, we'll just have to kill off Yaz. I don't know. Ryan meets this man who's, pregnant, and I personally didn't care that, he's pregnant, yeah, whatever, because I like the little bit he gives, like, oh, hey, yeah, the men give birth to boys and the women give birth to girls. Yeah, it's just the thing we do. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But what was weird to me was the fact, he doesn't want to be a dad, doesn't think he'd be good at being a dad, and the episode sort of, like, once you see him, you'll want to be a dad. Well, what if he still didn't want to? What if he's I wouldn't be a good dad, so he makes the hard decision to give his son up? Would that have been so bad? And Ryan reveals more about his dad, and it doesn't quite make sense. So, the first episode, we're sort of left to imply that his dad sort of walked out on his parent, on Ryan, and that would have been like, okay, it happens. Yeah, some people don't want to be dads. Some people just run off and abandon their children, and those are jerk people. But at the end, we find out, hey, I guess he and his mom got divorced. Ryan's parents got divorced, and Ryan lives with Gran now because his mom died. We find out in this episode that Ryan's dad left because Ryan's mom had a heart attack when he was 13, and he just couldn't stand looking at Ryan because Ryan looked like his mom. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, I guess. It adds some layers to their relationship, but he left his 13-year-old son alone because he was sad. Like, I get it to an extent, but Ryan's in his 20s now. Like, what? And then, like, finding out that, Ryan, that, this guy is pregnant and he's going to be a dad around the same age that, Ryan's dad was going to be a dad. And it's like, oh, I got this new perspective on him now. Like, no, you really don't. Legitimately doesn't matter. Like, this episode wants to try to do three things. And it wants to use one thing to be part of a bigger story. And that's fine. That's how that works. But it doesn't work when there's no real consistency. And maybe it's more like the mystery aspect. Like, hey, Ryan and his dad are going to have some meeting, hopefully by the end of the season, and we'll go from there. But where does Graham fit into this? Don't quite know. Granted, some of the pregnant dad stuff was funny. And some of the stuff with the knot stitch, Experiment 628, was funny. And some fun bits with the commander and her brother, or captain and her brother. That was fun too. But at the end of it all, I was like, you gave stakes, but all we really did was throw the alien out into space. Why couldn't we do that before? It can survive in a vacuum in space. Does that mean it can move in space? Going by what it looked like it was an accident that he ended up there. So, I don't know. Like, this episode it's so interesting but forgettable at the same time. This may be my least favorite Base Under Siege story, and granted, I also like The Almost People in the Rebel Flesh, but I at least like that from an idea standpoint. And anytime Matt Smith can show off his acting chops, I eat it up. And maybe that was another problem. There was no stellar performance here. Even Graham just sort of was there. He had nothing memorable to go with. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just looking at this from a different perspective. Maybe I'm already too jaded from the past few episodes to really sink my teeth into anything. What do you guys think? Well, anyway, we'll bring this to a close here. If you're new to the Bucket Thing, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you saw this episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. And I will catch you all later. This is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. May your fandom serve you well.